Hello, English learners. Welcome to CamEnglish.com. I am Teacher Mela, and let's study the book Small Group Discussion Topics for Korean Students by Jack Martyr. This book is a modern approach to fluency in English. For today, we will answer some discussion questions regarding our topic in Unit 1, and that is Korea then and now. But before that, let's study first usage clinic. Usage clinic. The first one is to relate to. To relate to. For example, they can't relate to the poverty their country experienced in the past. They can't relate to the poverty their country experienced in the past. Next one. Be a way of life. Be a way of life. Studying day and night has become a way of life with him. Studying day and night has become a way of life with him. The difference between night and day. The difference between night and day. He has changed completely since he got married. It's like the difference between night and day. He has changed completely since he got married. It is like the difference between night and day. Alright, now let's answer the discussion questions. For number 1. Are you old enough to remember the Korean way of life in the 1980s? If so, tell what you can remember about it. If you are not old enough, what have you heard about it? Compare Korean life back then with life today in regard to each of the following. Public transportation, color TV, TV broadcasting, contracting people, keeping in touch, keeping appointments, shopping and shopping facilities, car ownership, traffic, air pollution, outdoor advertising and neon signs, foreign fast food restaurants, nighttime curfew until 1983, quality of education, credit cards, ATM machines, automatic ticketing machines, and the internet. For public transportation, there were no subways and no modern buses. For color TV, in the 80s, all TV broadcasting was in black and white. TV broadcasting, there were only 4 TV channels in the 80s, and they all showed the same kinds of programs. Contacting people, keeping in touch, keeping appointments, there were no cell phones and no beepers. Missed appointments were a way of life in the 80s. Shopping and shopping facilities, there were no shopping malls. Car ownership, traffic, air pollution, there were few cars, no traffic, and no air pollution. Outdoor advertising and neon signs, only neon crosses on churches or pharmacies were allowed before. Foreign fast food restaurants until 1983, there were no fast food restaurants in Korea before. And nighttime curfew until 1983. There was midnight to 4 a.m. curfew in Korea until 1982. And for the internet, there were no computers, and of course, there were no internet. Number 2. Describe what you think it would be like to live with a nighttime curfew, which Koreans had to do until 1983. Does it sound scary? How would you feel if you couldn't go out at night? Would that affect your lifestyle very much? Why or why not? Yes, it sounds crazy and scary. I would feel bad. My lifestyle would be boring. Number 3. Do you think that Korea's image abroad has improved much since the 1980s? If so, which of the changes would be most responsible for causing foreigners to change their opinions about Korea? Yes, the image of Korea had improved. There were many changes, like in the transportation, communication, and infrastructure. Number 4. Have all the changes that Korea has undergone in the past 20 some years been positive, or was Korea a better place to live in the 1980s? What are some of today's problems that probably didn't exist back then? There were positive and negative changes. Some of today's problems that didn't exist back then are the air pollution and traffic jam. Number 5. Middle and high school students a generation ago were better behaved than the students of today. Why are there so many bad teenagers today? There were so many bad teenagers today because of the bad influence of technology and new lifestyle. Number 6. Judging by the behavior of today's middle and high school students, do you think the schools of today are better or worse than the schools of the 1980s? Tell why you think so. In my opinion, the schools of today are worse than the schools of the 1980s. The schools before were more strict than the schools today. Number 7. If you had a chance to revisit Korea during the early 1980s, would you do it? If so, what would you want to see the most? If not, why not? Yes, I would do it. I want to see and experience a more peaceful life, no traffic jam and no air pollution. And number 8, what's your opinion of skyscraper apartment buildings? Which apartment would you rather live in? One on the 9th floor built in the 1990, or one on the 62nd floor built in 2003? Tell why. I don't like to live in a skyscraper apartment building. Alright, that's all for today. I hope you learned something from this video. I invite you to have fun while learning English. Again, this is Teacher Mala from Camglish.com. See you next time. Goodbye.